damaged infrastructure and rebuild and restore what has been lost. And we should be ready to make our contributions to this process. And finally, we would wish to thank the two delegations for the willingness to come to this agreement, and we commit to support the federal government and the regions affected as best as we can. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. At this point, I have the singular honor to invite Her Excellency Dr. Naledi Pandor, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa. Dr. Pandor.
Your Excellency, Chair of the Facilitation Panel, former President of Obasanjo, Your Excellencies, former President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and former Deputy President of South Africa, former Deputy President Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka, members of delegations of the Federal Government of Ethiopia and those of the Tigray People's Liberation Front, officials from the African Union, senior officials from the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, distinguished observers, members of the media, I am the most relieved person in this room. When the African Union approached our office on the possibility of South Africa serving as host to a round of peace talks, I must admit I was initially extremely reluctant. And my response to the African Union was, I have to think about it. And after I've thought about it, I have to approach President Ramaphosa. When I spoke to President Ramaphosa, he said, of course, Minister, we cannot decline. It is a duty that South Africa must assume and undertake, right up to the logical conclusion of peace. So, colleagues have to thank President Ramaphosa because I was very nervous. Allow me to welcome, on behalf of the people and the government of South Africa, the successful negotiation of this cessation of hostilities agreement between the federal government of Ethiopia and the Tigray People's Liberation Front. We extend our congratulations to the leaders on both sides. For us, this agreement signals a commitment to ending the use of force to settle differences and disputes, and confirms the correctness of our own country's principled policy position that political differences are best resolved through meaningful dialogue and diplomacy. This agreement also underscores the importance that the leaders on both sides have attached to the lives of their people, including to the fighting forces, to their families, to women in their communities, as well as to the suffering children of war. The message that comes out of these talks is clear. There are no winners in war, and wars do not solve problems. Invariably, the underlying reasons for conflict will persist unless they are resolved through dialogue. The use of force serves to destroy lives, livelihoods, infrastructure, and to merely prolong human suffering. This is why, as South Africa, we've always urged the African Union that as a continent, we must give much more focused attention to preventative interventions, structures, and mechanisms. Peace building is much more difficult than waging a war. The real heroes are those who work toward building peace and sustaining it. We therefore humbly call on the leaders of both sides to to continue to work toward maintaining this peace through implementing the agreement in full, as they have committed to do in front of us. The engagement to build stability, to sustain peace, must continue in Ethiopia and lead to the securing of an enduring peace. We are honored as South Africa to have been the host for these talks, and we are keen to provide further support to the African Union, working closely with the facilitation team to ensure that peace is indeed maintained in our sister country, Ethiopia. It is absolutely imperative that we thank the facilitators and the observers for the hard work that has been undertaken. We thank His Excellency, President Olusegun Obasanjo, His Excellency, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and Her Excellency, former Deputy President Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka. We also thank colleagues of the African Union Commission and all the observers, as well as the resource personnel who have helped steer the talks. It is our hope as the people and government of South Africa that we are very soon going to be enjoying a celebration with the people of Ethiopia and indeed with all the people of Africa, because this agreement offers the hope that it is possible that as Africans we can silence the guns throughout the continent. Our President, President Ramaphosa, has directed me to congratulate all of you and to confirm his government and our country's readiness to continue playing any positive role that you may wish us to play. We are heartily encouraged by this example, and we are indeed really privileged and honored that this first sign that our path, our walk to silencing the guns is probably a successful one. We are absolutely privileged that that path and walk has begun here in South Africa. I thank you, moderator.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Excellencies, President Obasanjo, President Uhuru Kenyatta, Madam Phumzile, this brings us to one of the most important and critical points in today's signing ceremony. The parties' excellencies have agreed to issue a joint statement, and as a demonstration of their commitment and the bonds that bind them as brothers and sisters, is a two-page document with 12 paragraphs. They have divided them evenly and will have Ambassador Redwan Rameto read the first part of the joint statement, and that will be followed by Mr. Getachew Reda, which will bring us to the signing ceremony. So without further ado, I would like to call on Ambassador Redwan for the first part of the joint statement between the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Ambassador, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bach. In fact, I offered Getachew to read the first page, but he delegated me to begin, so I will humbly begin reading. Joint statement between the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF. As per Article 3 of the Agreement for Lasting Peace and Permanent Cessation of Hostilities, the representatives of the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the TPLF have agreed to announce to the people of Ethiopia and the rest of the world that after 10 days of intensive negotiations have concluded a peace agreement. Second, we've agreed to permanently silence the guns and end the 2 years of conflict in northern Ethiopia. 3, the conflict has brought a tragic degree of loss of lives and livelihoods. and it is in the interest of the entire people of Ethiopia to leave the chapter of conflict behind and live in peace and harmony. Fourth, it is fundamental that we reaffirmed our commitment to safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ethiopia and to upholding the Constitution of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Thus, Ethiopia has only one national defense force. We've also agreed on a detailed program of disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration for the TPLF combatants, taking into account the security situation on the ground. Fifth, we've agreed that the government of Ethiopia will further enhance its collaboration with humanitarian agencies to continue expediting aid to all those in need of assistance. Sixth, we've agreed to implement transitional measures that include the restoration of constitutional order in Tigray region, a framework for the settlement of political difference, and a transitional justice policy framework to ensure accountability, truth, reconciliation, and healing.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Redwan. Mr. Getachew.
7. To start implementing these undertakings without delay, we have agreed to stop all forms of conflicts and hostile propaganda. We'll only make statements to support the expeditious implementation of the agreement. We urge Ethiopians in the country and abroad to support this agreement, stop voices of division and hate, and mobilize their resources for economic recovery and rehabilitation of social bonds. 8. The government of Ethiopia will continue the efforts to restore public services and rebuild the infrastructures of communities affected by the conflict. Students must go to school, farmers and pastoralists to their fields, and public servants to their offices. The agreement requires the support of the public for its smooth implementation. This is a new and hopeful chapter in the history of the country. 9. We express our gratitude to all actors contributing to the success of this endeavor, in particular, the African Union Commission Chairperson, the African High-Level Panel led by His Excellency former President Olusegun Obasanjo, supported by His Excellency former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and Her Excellency Dr. Fumuzile Mlambo, former Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. We thank the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mr. Musa Faki Mohammed, Commissioner Bankole Adoye, and his colleagues for their tireless work during these talks. We rely on their continued support as we implement the agreement. 10. We thank His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, and Her Excellency Dr. Naledi Pandor, the Minister for the Department of International Relations and Cooperation of South Africa, for the excellent facilities they put at the disposal of these talks and their words of encouragement to the parties toward the successful results. We are indebted for the hospitality accorded to us by the people and government of the Republic of South Africa. 11. We are grateful to the people of Ethiopia for encouraging these talks and patiently waiting for the outcome. We are confident that they will embrace the results of these talks and ensure their timely implementation. 12. Finally, we are confident that friends of Ethiopia and members of the diplomatic community will lend their support in rebuilding infrastructure in affected communities and the economic recovery of the country. We call on all types of media outlets to support peace, reconciliation, unity and prosperity in Ethiopia. Jointly delivered at Pretoria, the Republic of South Africa, 2nd November 2022.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Redwan and Getachew. Excellencies, with your permission and that of the Minister, may we give them a round of applause. Excellencies, at this point, we now have the formal signing ceremony. So we'll bring a table to the front, and I would like to invite Mr. Getachew Reda and Ambassador Redwan, if they can come to the table for the signing of this very important peace agreement.
يويا المال يا بكيف تمرت نجيني كي نتواقع كورمون بعد سنة كبو ورسالي برينا كملتان نجانا ملتني سن الجنة ورسالي لهنا كملتان نجا ملتني سلام الله عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته كلتي دانجا سجنتاس بريتوريا ساوث أفريقيا روا تأمورا مري أرارا متوما إثيوبيا تفي كلمة لي متوما نانو تجرأتي دقولمه ويسنو دفسيسات الرّ ga sagata salamat umra bejra tintara kenyan walid dachana de ka umra saboda hamasu pokonna gababdo kada boda walid dachana ti nagana tura